Abu Sufyan, who went to the Battle of the Trench saying, "Let's meet at Badr next year," was sincere in his words. He wanted to deliver the real blow at Badr. However, the passing months were breaking his courage, especially as the days of Badr approached. A fair was held there on certain days of the year. His courage turned to fear. He came halfway with the 2,000 men he had gathered. Then, after a speech in which he explained that the weather was dry and they were having difficulty even finding feed for the animals, he said, "I am returning." He concluded by saying, "You too, return." The Prophet Muhammad waited for Abu Sufyan for days in Badr, where he had arrived with 1,500 people. He advised the believers to bring their trade goods with them, and they returned to Medina with both material and spiritual gains. Abu Sufyan could not return to Mecca with pride. No one approved of his behavior. This humiliating incident had to be rectified. At this time, the Jews who had arrived in Mecca formed a coalition. They proposed marching on Medina with an army. These were the Jews who had been expelled from Medina. A large-scale operation began. An army of 10,000 men was prepared. This time, they would not return without a decisive victory. Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib's letter, informing them of the situation and warning them to be cautious, arrived just in time. The Prophet consulted with his companions. Salman al-Farsi said that in such situations, defensive warfare was waged in his own lands by digging trenches. The Prophet assigned a specific area to everyone. Serious digging began, so much so that the digging was finished by the time the Meccan army arrived. The Meccans were astonished by the unexpected situation. Meanwhile, Huyy ibn Akhtab, the leader of the Nadir Jews, had gone to the Qurayza Jews. Despite their saying, "We must make an agreement with Muhammad. There is nothing to break the agreement," he deceived them and persuaded them to fight alongside the polytheists. The fighting continued for days, with stones and arrows being thrown back and forth. One day, the famous swordsman Amr ibn Abd al-Wad and his 3 companions spurred their horses and crossed the trench. Amr demanded a warrior to fight. No one came forward. Faced with Amr's insulting insistence, Ali asked permission to confront him. The Prophet said, "Sit down, Ali. This is Amr." Ali ibn Abi Talib, requesting permission for the 3rd time, stepped forward with the Prophet's prayer. "O Allah, you took Ubaidah at Badr and Hamza at Uhud. Grant me Ali." In the ensuing duel, Amr fell lifeless to the ground. Nofal, one of those who had crossed the trench, was killed by the sword of Zubair ibn Awam. Ikrimah and Dirar fled. Although the opposing side offered 10,000 dirhams for Amr's body, the Prophet said, "We do not sell the dead for money," and surrendered the body. The Arabs could not endure a prolonged battle. Therefore, Abu Sufyan ordered a general attack. The fierce fighting, which lasted from morning till evening, yielded no results. Meanwhile, the Prophet Muhammad, after a long prayer and supplication, concluded with a smile. He declared to those around him that help had come from the Almighty. He said, "Help came to me with the north wind. The At tribe was destroyed by the south wind." Finally, a strong wind that arose in the late afternoon overturned everything. Tents collapsed, cauldrons were overturned, and fires scattered. No one knew what to do. Abu Sufyan, in a short speech at night, explained that this would not end, and said, "Now I am leaving." No one said, "Let's stay and continue the war." When morning came, it was seen that only a few hundred men remained to gather and take away the army's equipment. The Battle of Banu Qurayza. The Prophet returned to Medina. He washed to cleanse himself and wash away the fatigue of days of fighting. Meanwhile, Gabriel, the trustworthy messenger, came and said, "We have not yet taken out our weapons," and informed him that they should march on Qurayza. The Prophet immediately ordered the army to be assembled and said that no one should perform the afternoon prayer until they reached the land of Qurayza. The march began. Towards evening, the siege of the fortress was completed. As a result of the siege that lasted for days, the commander of the fortress held a meeting with the Jewish leaders. He said to them, "I bring you 3 solutions." They said, "Tell us." He said, "You know this man is the prophet of God. Let us convert to his religion. Let us save both our worldly lives and our afterlife." They said, "No, he is not of the Jewish nation." They said, "Let us kill our children and women. Let us draw our swords and fight heroically." He said, "We will kill our children and women. We are here for our women," they said. "Tomorrow is Saturday. They know we won't be working tonight or tomorrow. Let's take advantage of this. Let's attack them tonight," he said. "We cannot violate the sanctity of Saturday," they replied. Seeing that all his proposals were rejected, Ka'b ibn Asad couldn't help but say, "What would you lose if you could use your minds just once?" A few days later, they surrendered, accepting the judgment to be given by Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh. Sa'ad ordered that the children and women be taken captive, the men killed, and their possessions seized as spoils of war.